I fully rebuilt the U.S. military, created Space Force, and I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war. Instead, I got us out of those endless wars and brought our troops back home. And with the historic Abraham Accords, I even made peace in the Middle East. We had peace. We got the Abraham Accords. We would have had just about every country signed up within months after the election. And you know how many countries they've added to the Abraham Accords? None. Not a country. Because they're incompetent. Look, Biden is the most corrupt and most incompetent president in the history of our country. And you know, until I got indicted, because once you get it, I get indicted for this nonsense. Even every legal scholar says these indictments, and they're not indictments, they're political opponent indictments. Political opponent. People forget that. They say, oh, Donald Trump is going to court. No. And even the ones at a state level or a city level, he put his people, meaning they put their people, Garland and the young woman that works right under him, who's a big friend of Weissman. You know, Weissman, they've been after me for years, and that's fine. So far, they haven't done too well. I became president, and they said, man, they couldn't believe it. You know, they said, we can never let this happen again. And that's what they did. That's how they cheated. We can never let this happen again. But we're going to have it happen this time. It's going to be the biggest election in history, but we got to be careful. We got to be careful. 2024 will be the biggest election in history. Will be the biggest. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, because it's we are going to win it, I'll have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It should have never started, but I'll get it settled. I know them both very well. Good relationship with very, very good relationship with both. It's got to get settled. The human lives. The number of lives being lost is far greater than what you're hearing. When you see buildings like that coming down, the number of lives being lost is far greater than anybody knows. We'll get that settled before I even get into the Oval Office. We will get it settled. To protect our citizens from foreign threats, I will build a state-of-the-art missile defense shield. You know, we have a lot of crazy people out there, and they're willing to do, and we actually have that technology now. It's our technology, by the way, but you see how it works in Israel, where they shoot down like 98% of the missiles. They're like shooting needles in the sky. It's incredible, the talent. And today, really, to be a great shot, you're better if you went to MIT than if you lift weights all day long, you know? But it's incredible when you see these guys in action. They're shooting down these little missiles in the sky, and they shoot them down. They didn't have that. You know, Ronald Reagan wanted to do that, but we really didn't have the technology, even close then. But now we have the most incredible technology. Much of it is in New Hampshire, by the way. You know, you have a lot of that technology right here. But we're gonna build a great. Remember when Russia was going crazy over it? They hated the fact that we were doing it because it meant they had to build much more, and put a lot of pressure on Reagan. Reagan was a really good president, except on trade. I disagreed with him on trade. But he was a very good president and had a great way about him, right? It was like your father in the White House, and it was good, but he was excellent. And he wanted to do that years ago, but we really didn't have the technology. Today we do. And, you know, it's okay to spend a lot of money to defend. If somebody goes crazy from some country, if we can shoot that missile down, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And we're creating jobs in our own country, and it's jobs for things that are very important. I will end Joe Biden's disastrous war on American energy and unleash the most powerful economic weapon. It's called drilling for oil, or as I call it, liquid gold, or as I say sometimes, drill, baby, drill, right? Drill, baby, drill. We have more liquid gold than anybody. And it's no wonder crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by any means necessary. You got to watch, you know. We're going to have a lot of votes. We're going to have plenty of votes. The big thing that we all fear, everybody in this room fears, is the way they cheat on elections. It's the second most question. I think the first question I get from people come up and talk, and they say, sir, could I ask you a question? Yes. How do you take it? That's my first question. Because this isn't supposed to happen to a former president who's very popular. I got 75 million votes. and that's their count, okay, which is a phony count, but I got votes, more votes than any sitting president in history. And I went from 63 to 75. That's the biggest increase. There's never been a president. Most presidents, like Obama, got less the second time by millions. Others get... Who said that? Who said that? And by the way, there's somebody else said something. They said, this man said something he shouldn't say. I will defend. He said, Chris Christie is a fat pig. You cannot say that, sir. You can. Please take that back. Please take that back. No. He said, Chris Christie's a fat pig. You cannot do that. This is a tough group. Anyway. They're weaponizing. You know, the beauty of that is, he said that, and I'm correcting him, but the beauty of that is the fake news. You know, you're not allowed to use the fat word, and you're probably not allowed to use the pig word, right? The beauty of that is that the press can't really do anything because I'm defending him. They can't do anything, so, so it's sort of interesting the way that works out. They can't really write the story because I'm defending the fact that you can't use the word fat pig when you describe Chris Christie. He's not a fat pig. For purposes of, he is not a fat pig. They're weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference because we're beating them so badly in the polls. You know, I don't know if you've been seeing the polls. The polls are going through the roof. And I think you like me the way you've liked me. We've had a great love affair. But what you're seeing now is something that you've never seen before. Now you're seeing the most incompetent people in the history of our country running this country with open borders and all of the things they're doing. You know, your taxes are going to go up 4 times. Your energy prices have gone through the roof. All of the inflation that would have never happened. It was caused by energy. With me, you were going to have low energy, so you would have never had any inflation. We had no inflation. We had the best economy in history. But, you know, it's going up. So when you see, it's no longer just you like me and you like my policies. You see what's happened to this country, the stupidity, the fact that maybe, in a way, one of the most important things, we're not respected anymore in the world. They laugh at us. They think this guy, and again, I would have never talked about him with this disrespect until they indicted me. Once they indicted me, I said, I mean, it can't happen. And they indicted me for nothing. They indicted me for criticizing the election. They indicted me for things, and virtually every legal scholar you read says, how can it happen? They got me in New York, where my company turned out to be a great company instead of a bad company. They indicted me because they said I inflated numbers, and my numbers, it turned out, were extremely conservative, just the opposite of what, and now they don't know what to do, and the judge is being made to look, he's a radical left person, and he actually accused me of something before the trial started, and now it's sort of coming home to play. We'll see what happens, but it's a disgrace. So when they did that, and you know, they're using state people like this AG, Letitia James, she's a disaster. No, she's a disaster. She's grossly incompetent. What she does is, and she campaigned for a year. I will get Trump, I will get him, knowing nothing about me. Her whole campaign, many candidates, she got a few votes, and it was more than anybody else. She becomes the Attorney General of New York, right? And she campaigned on this, didn't know a thing about me, and then gets witnesses that have now been, they lied. The one witness, their star witness, he lied so badly, they don't even know what's going to happen. He totally made up the story, and he admitted it. It was a Perry Mason moment. At the end, where Perry Mason, do you mean? And then some guy walks into the courthouse, he looks, he goes, oh, I did it, I killed him, I killed him. And that's the end of the show. I had that live in New York last week. The star witness against me lied and then said all the things that he said about me are false. Can you believe it? So we say, we want a directed verdict. I won't give that to you. The whole thing is crazy. But you know what? The people get it. And that's why our poll numbers are high. I'm the only person in history that got indicted that saw about a 30% rise in my poll numbers. Usually, you know, we were doing fine before. Usually you get indicted, you're a politician, you get indicted, and about within 5 minutes you're at a microphone. I've decided I will go home to my family, and I will be with my family, and I will fight for my name and my reputation. Okay, you know, all that. And that's the end. That's the last time you ever hear from the poor person. With me, it's like, I said, how are we doing? Sure, your poll numbers went up 14 points today. You know why? Because I explain it to people, and they get it. This is a political opponent hitting his political opponent. And it's never happened in this country before. It has happened in many other countries, third world nations, banana republics. But the people get it. I mean, I have a judge in Washington, D.C., who put a gag order on me. I cannot speak. So if the fake news asks me a question about like something, I cannot speak. I'm sorry. How do you think that would be in a campaign? You're watching, what do you think about the campaign? I'm sorry, I can't comment. She put a gag order. Then it's been taken off by the appellate division. But you got to count it. But think of it. They do things like this, but she sets a trial date. This could not be. One day before Super Tuesday. Now, you know, Super Tuesday is a big day. Now, to me, the big day is Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. Because I think this whole thing might be, you know, we're up about 42 points here. We're up 44 points in Iowa, I think 44 points something. How can the farmers vote against me? I got them $28 billion from China. Nobody else would have done that. I got the farmers of Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, all these states, $28 billion because they were abused by China for so many years. I said, what was the number to Sonny Perdue, Commissioner of Agriculture in the United States, under me, good guy. He said about 28 billion. I got the money from China out of the tariffs that I got, which was many times that number. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. I gave our farmers $28 billion. Nobody can believe it. Then my people say, please don't be so arrogant about it. I say, what's arrogant? I got them 28. They're not going to vote against me, and that's exactly what's turning out. I told that to Iowa the other day, and they were all laughing. But it's true. I got them $28 billion that they got screwed out of by China with really bad things they did to our farmers.
Thank you for watching this video. LiveFEED is an independent media platform that's not affiliated with any party or organization. Our only mission is to bring truthful and independent reporting. If you'd like to support our work, join our channel as a member and be the first to watch all new videos as soon as they come out. Additionally, as a member, you will have access to many exclusive features, including priority reply to comments, access to behind-the-scenes footage, as well as members-only Q&As, polls, and more. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. People like you make it all possible. LiveFEED. News as it happens, worldwide.
What farmer's going to vote against me for some stiff that was never for them? Like tens of millions of, and I'm not wearing lifts either, by the way. I don't have 6-inch heels. Actually, the greatest moment of the debate when Ron DeSanctimonious was walking off the stage, and his feet, it's weird, because there's cowboy boots. So they have a high heel outside, but inside you got a big deal going on. And he's walking like... No, he's walking off the stage like he's trying to balance himself. I thought he was wearing ice skates. No. What difference does it make, right? What difference, when you think about it, what difference does it make? Like tens of millions of people within our nation, I'm proud and strong. I'm a very proud election denier, because unless the truth is found, we will never have fair, free, and honest elections, and we have to have them. And again, for the first time in American history, a sitting administration has charged its only opponent, I think. I guess you could say leading, but I think it's only. I hope that's correct. But its opponent with criminal offenses. Think of it. Now, that means that I could do that too. I'll be in the White House. I don't want to do that. I wouldn't do that. But you know what? I'll be sitting there and they'll say, sir, there's a Democrat who's surging. I say, really? Well, you know, they did it to me. Now I can do it to them. Indict him for walking across the street in an improper manner. And when he gets indicted, he'll go right down the tubes because they don't have much of a platform. Now, it's a very bad precedent that they're starting. It's sort of like we talked about with the hostage stuff where they get paid $6 billion. You know, you set a precedent. Well, this is a precedent that maybe in a certain way is much worse than that. I did a great job, and I got indicted. So when I say, I never used to say he's a stone-cold crook, he's the most grossly incompetent president, and now I say it, and I'm saying the truth. Because I had too much respect for the office of president, aware that its charges are bogus. Think of it, this was all bogus stuff. The prosecution has sought to proceed in secret, forcing the nation and the world to rely on biased second-hand accounts coming from the corrupt Biden administration and its media allies, people like that. You know, the funny thing, their numbers are way down. And they said they had the greatest numbers they've ever had during the Trump administration. If I were the media, now they're all going bankrupt. If I were the media, you know what I'd do? I'd hope that Trump wins, because during the Trump administration, that was the golden 4 years. Now I just saw where the New York Times is way down. They're all way down. Washington Post is way down. I don't even know. You know, at what point do you say you could be rich, but at what point, if you're going to lose $100 million a year for the privilege of having a newspaper that's losing that kind of money, you know, at what point do you say, I'm not going to do this anymore? But the Washington Post is way down. They're all down. And they were all up. During my 4 years, now they were up with fake stories like Russia, 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 you know, the Mueller, all the different hoaxes. And we had plenty of them. But they were doing great. Now they're way down, and, you know, because they're not believed anymore. You know, that's the problem. When I started running, they had a very high approval rating, and I think it's one of the greatest things I've done. I've told people that they're corrupt and they're dishonest, and they have to straighten out their act because people are not believing them. And when you don't have a free press and when you don't believe your press, you've got yourself a very big problem in the country. But as a result, the citizens of our great country are unable to review for themselves the facts of this case and show. So it's so unfair. And I look at it, and when you think about, you got treated this way by your political opponent. So when you hear Trump is facing a lawsuit, remember, this is a Biden lawsuit. This was Biden. He took his top person from the Department of Justice and put him into the local New York Manhattan DA's office, running it. You're not even allowed to do that. But they took the top person, as you know, I believe the name is Colangelo. They took the top person, they put him into the Manhattan DA's office, Colangelo, and this guy was in Washington, D.C., working for Garland, and now he's in this office, and even signing checks and the papers. This is a terrible thing that's happened. And I don't even know, I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if Biden knows. But the people in his office knows, like Lisa Monaco and other people, they know what's going on. You know, they're friends with some very bad people. But it's a very bad precedent, it's very dangerous. And again, such a thing has never happened in our country. I've made clear from the outset, the prosecution has repeatedly denied me my fundamental constitutional rights, including my right to have a trial. I want the trial. I announced last night, you probably saw it. They said, sir, do you want a trial with or without cameras? Now, most people would say without. I say the opposite. I want this trial to be seen by everybody in the world. The prosecution wishes to continue this travesty in darkness, and I want sunlight. That's a nice way of saying it. Isn't that pretty? I want sunlight. I want everything exposed to the public. And Such a thing can never happen again to our country. You know, we want paper ballots. We want same-day voting. That's what we want. And we don't want mail-in voting. And we want one-day voting. You know, these things that last for 48 days, and you see them wheeling things with wheelbarrows, dumping them, ballots. No, what we want is we want one-day voting, we want paper ballots, or we want voter ID.
Thank you for watching this video. LiveFEED is an independent media platform that's not affiliated with any party or organization. Our only mission is to bring truthful and independent reporting. If you'd like to support our work, join our channel as a member and be the first to watch all new videos as soon as they come out. Additionally, as a member, you will have access to many exclusive features, including priority reply to comments, access to behind-the-scenes footage, as well as members-only Q&As, polls, and more. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. People like you make it all possible. LiveFEED. News as it happens. Worldwide.
You know, they just did it in France. France had mail-in ballots. Look, mail-in ballots, you know, are going to be corrupt. Even Jimmy Carter had a commission. He said, if you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have massive corruption, and we don't want that. But every person in America is beyond and should have the opportunity to study this case firsthand. It's to be, oh, this will be very good for the networks. They should want it. But I can tell you the prosecutors don't want it, and the judge doesn't want it, if you can believe it. And they watch it, and if there's a trial, because I should not even have a trial. This should be thrown out long before. But if there's a trial, I want everybody to see all of the horrible things that took place, all of the horrible charges, and all of the things that were done with respect to a very corrupt election. And let's let the public decide, because I want cameras in every inch of that courthouse. We've asked the judge in Washington, D.C., we've asked her to be recused because she hates me. You know, is that a good reason? I think so, right? No, the judge truly, truly hates me. She is a Trump hater at the highest level, so we've asked for her recusal. She's denied it, and we're appealing that. And we'll definitely be asking for a venue change, D.C., especially in light of the fact that I want a federal government takeover of our capital so that we can fix our capital. It's dirty, it's filthy, it's crime-ridden. People are being murdered every day. It's incompetently run. And I want to do that, and certainly that would not be very popular with the jury of residents. They're not going to be thrilled. We have deranged Jack Smith. Have you ever heard of him? He's a lovely man. Do you ever see him with the purple little thing? He's a lovely man. The Trump-hating prosecutor in the case, his wife and family despise me much more than he does, and he decides, I think he's about a 10. They're about a 15 on a scale of 10. And he was involved, you know, Jack Smith, the deranged one, I call him. He was involved, crooked guy. He was involved with the failed and very messy Lois Lerner IRS scandal. Did you know that? And the prosecution of Governor of Virginia, Bob McDonnell, which was overturned unanimously by the Supreme Court, as well as the failed prosecution of presidential candidate John Edwards. And he's charged. What he did is horrible, but they got him in. They brought him back from The Hague, and they said, go get Trump. It's a terrible thing that's happening in America. But, and he's a disgrace to America. They want to silence me because I know the truth, and I'm not afraid to say it. Their goal is intimidation of everybody at the highest level. But I really don't care. I don't care. I just want to do what's right for the country. I didn't need this. You know, when I did this, somebody said the other day, are you glad you did it? Because I had a hell of a life. I had the most beautiful life. I don't think I could do whatever I want, the best properties, the best resorts. I could have had the greatest time. Instead, I'm here with you, working my ass off. Working my ass off up here. No, I had a good life. But I was asked a question. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. But I was asked a question, a lot actually, but I was asked this question. If you had it to do again, with all I've been through, I mean, I got indicted more than Al Capone. Did you ever hear of Al Capone? Scarface. He was the meanest of all gangsters. If he had dinner with you and you looked at him in the wrong way, you looked at him like you smiled and you were mocking him, you were a dead person. Alphonse Capone, Scarface, he got indicted one time. I got indicted 4 times. And I have other trials, too. You know, I have other civil trials I have to go through. This is a terrible thing. Nobody's ever done it before. But they asked me, if you had it to do, you had such a great life. If you had it to do again, would you do it? I didn't even hesitate. I said, absolutely, because we made America great again, and we're going to make it even greater. You know, there are a lot of rich guys around that didn't do much, and they whatever. But no, I would do it again in a heartbeat. People find that hard to believe. And one thing, I think I've kept a lot of rich people out of politics. You know, I used to have guys say, smart guys. I used to, one guy said, oh, I want to do it so much. I want to do it so much. I'm going to do it. A very successful guy, killer, really successful. He said, but I have one problem. I said, what's your problem? He said, I have stage fright. I said, if you have stage fright, don't become a politician. Don't. I think I saved him a lot of anguish. But they asked me, would you do it again? I said, absolutely. I said it without even thinking. Absolutely, I would do it again. Because what we did is miracles. Don't forget, this is the greatest movement of all time. There's never been anything like this. Never been anything like this. There's never been a movement, and probably anywhere, but in this country certainly, but probably anywhere because of the importance of this country. But you remember Pat Buchanan, how well he did 50 years ago in New Hampshire, right? And because he almost won, right? He came in second, I think, right? But he did very well against an incumbent. And I think, did he come in second? Does anybody remember? It was a long time ago. But anyway, I think he came in second. And he became legendary for the rest of his life and very successful and, you know, one of the greatest political pundits, good man. But we won every state. Think of it. Every single state. We came out in 2016 and just state after state after state. We won we won South Carolina. Remember, I was going to go down to South Carolina. They said, oh, he'll never win South Carolina because Bush is very close to the military. Bush did nothing for the military. And then I won by like 70%. 70%. And then we went up to Nevada. And then we went to Florida, and I had 2 people. I had a senator, right? And I had a governor. And I had both of them. And I said, this is not good because, and they had a thing that if you win, winner take all. So I said, I don't want winner take all. Because we had Bush was the governor. We had Marco is the senator, sitting senator. I said, that's a lot to compete with. I don't want to do that because, you know, give us our proportion. If I'm at 10% or 5%, at least let me have that. So I was all set to sue, and a poll came out, and it said Trump would win Florida by 70%. Marco would get 11, and Bush would get 9. I said, stop the lawsuit immediately. Stop that lawsuit. But every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it truly a great badge of honor because I'm being indicted for you. I am being indicted for you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, ladies. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in their way. I'm standing in their way. This is far more than a campaign. This is far more than a campaign. We're all involved in a great political movement, the greatest such movement ever in the history of our country. I mean, there's never been a movement like this, not even close. And now it looks, I mean, if you look at the polls, we're winning every swing state. We're winning states that nobody's even thought about. After years of betrayals of New Hampshire workers, together we ended the NAFTA disaster, the worst trade deal ever made. and replaced it with the brand new USMCA, that's Mexico and Canada, the best trade deal ever made. I appointed nearly 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices. We achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. We built over 500 miles of border wall. They like to say, oh, it was less. It's not. It's much more than that. And we got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. So when they say about Mexico, I saw some guy in the debate say, oh, Mexico gave us 28,000 soldiers. They said they're going to pay for the wall, but there was no mechanism for that. You know, sometimes you don't have. I said, you got to give us soldiers. You got to give us. Right now, we have the biggest caravans in history coming up. Right now, they're coming up. I got them to give us free of charge 28,000 soldiers. Now, I didn't tell you. I said to them, if you don't do that, we're going to tariff every product that you sell into the United States at approximately 25%. And they said, we would love to give you those soldiers. On my first day back in the Oval Office, I will terminate every open borders policy of the Biden administration. Stop the invasion. This is an invasion. This is like a military invasion. We'll stop the invasion on our southern border and begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. I will immediately restore and expand the Trump travel ban on entry from terror-plagued countries, which was a big thing. You know, we had no terror during my administration. The only terror we had was Nancy Pelosi, who's a crazed lunatic. She's a lunatic. She is a crazed lunatic. What the hell was going on with her husband? Let's not ask. Let's not ask. I'll withdraw that statement. By the way, she's got a wall around her house. Obviously, in that case, it didn't work very well, did it? It didn't work. And I'll implement strong and ideological screenings for all immigrants. And if you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you sympathize with jihadists and people that hate our country because they're not getting in, then we will stop, because then you have to just go for the other side. If you hate America, you have to go for the other side. We will stop Joe Biden's inflation disaster immediately and rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had that. And unlike Ron DeSanctimonious, who wants a 23% national sales tax on everybody in this room, which would devastate New Hampshire, would devastate your economy, would go to hell, I'll give you tax cuts, regulation cuts, interest rate cuts like you've never seen before. You know, I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country, larger than the Reagan tax cuts, and I gave you the largest regulation cuts. That's why we had the best job numbers ever. I will approve pipelines and infrastructure to cut through the cost of energy. And, you know, if you had a pipeline going through New York State, your energy costs will be less than half. Do you know that? And they couldn't. Do you know that? You have the highest energy costs in the nation. Your governor ought to work on that one, too. You pay more than any other state in the nation. And with a simple pipeline going through New York State, your energy costs would be cut in less than half. You would get all the energy you need, but they can't get it done. And I had it just about done until COVID came in. I had it done, but I had to get Democrat approval. And you would have had it, but we'll get it done very quickly, very, very quickly. Unlike Ron DeSantis, the other day on NBC, they said, ladies and gentlemen, we're pleased to have as our guest Governor Ron DeSantis. That's called great branding, when you brand a guy so strong that they don't even know what his name is anymore. Unlike DeSantis, I will protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors. He was not good on Social Security and Medicare. On day one, I'll sign a new executive order to cut federal funding of any school pushing critical race theory, transgender. No, but can you believe you even have to say it? Pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. How about we will stop the sexual mutilation of your children? Can you believe? No. Can you believe you have to say that? Can you imagine if somebody got up here 15 years ago and made the statement, we will stop the sexual mutilation of your children? They'll say, is this guy? No, we will stop it. Can you believe this, that you have to say it?
Thank you for watching this video. LiveFEED is an independent media platform that's not affiliated with any party or organization. Our only mission is to bring truthful and independent reporting. If you'd like to support our work, join our channel as a member and be the first to watch all new videos as soon as they come out. Additionally, as a member, you will have access to many exclusive features, including priority reply to comments, access to behind-the-scenes footage, as well as members-only Q&As, polls, and more. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. People like you make it all possible. LiveFEED. News as it happens, worldwide.
I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. And the other thing, and I said it, I alluded to it before, but who would ever think that this is even a possibility? I will keep men immediately out of women's sports. Can you believe it? That you have to say that. It's embarrassing to say it because people, you know, people from 20 years ago, if they came back 30 years ago, probably 10 years ago, if they came back and heard some of the things that I'm saying we're going to do, they're going to say, that place has really gone bad. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment as I did. Not a change was made. And I will continue to protect innocent life. We will restore free speech, and I will secure our elections once and for all, and we will do it properly. And in conclusion, this is what we must do to restore our country to greatness. The USA is a mess. Israel is under attack. Our economy is cratering. Inflation is totally out of control. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition like probably we've never seen before. Our currency is crashing. I will soon no longer think of it. It's soon going to not be the world standard based on what's happening right now, which will be the greatest defeat. Once our currency is no longer the world standard, that will be the greatest defeat that we've had as a country in 200 years. Then we will revert to third world status. It won't happen with me, not even a little chance, just like Russia would never have invaded Ukraine. China would not even have thought about raiding Taiwan. And the attack on Israel would never have happened again. Iran had no money. They were broke. We would have left Afghanistan with dignity and strength instead of our greatest embarrassment in history with the loss, and I'm so sorry, but the loss of your children and your family. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. We are a failing nation. We are a nation in serious decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. It's totally corrupt, and we will not let it happen. If you want to save America from Crooked Joe and then get you have to go out, you have to really do it. We have to do it. You know, the one way we win like you've never seen before, we have to slam it on Election Day. We have to come up with votes. Because there's a point at which they're cheating, can't get it done. There's a point at which the cheating can't get it done. So get every patriot you know and get them out to deliver a massive victory in the primary. But honestly, more importantly, in the election, the primary. Let's get the primary done first. We'll be back here many times, but we got to get the primary done first. So 2024 is our final battle. With you at my side, and you've been at my side from the beginning, we will demolish the deep state. We're going to expel those horrible, horrible warmongers from our government. They want to fight everybody. They want to kill people all over the place, places we've never heard about before, places that want to be left alone. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists. Marxists, fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media until they become real. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House, and we will finish the job that we started better than anybody has ever started a job before. The great silent majority is rising like never before, and under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer. You're going to be forgotten no longer. With your help, your love, and your vote, we will put America first. And today, especially in honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day, we pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country, that lie and steal and cheat on elections and will do anything possible. They'll do anything, whether legally or illegally, to destroy America and to destroy the American dream. The real threat is not from the radical right. The real threat is from the radical left, and it's growing every day, every single day. The threat from outside forces is far less sinister, dangerous, and grave than the threat from within. Our threat is from within, because if you have a capable, competent, smart, tough leader, Russia, China, North Korea, they're not going to want to play with us. And they didn't. Despite the hatred and anger of the radical left lunatics who want to destroy our country, we will make America great again. Thank you, New Hampshire. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. LiveFEED is an independent media platform that's not affiliated with any party or organization. Our only mission is to bring truthful and independent reporting. If you'd like to support our work, join our channel as a member and be the first to watch all new videos as soon as they come out. Additionally, as a member, you will have access to many exclusive features, including priority reply to comments, access to behind-the-scenes footage, as well as members-only Q&As, polls, and more. Thank you for supporting independent journalism. People like you make it all possible. LiveFEED. News as it happens. Worldwide.